Hello, everyone. We are live. I'm here with my friend Priya today. We're going to talk all about 2026 trends on social media. And Priya has been online learning. She's really good at identifying trends and giving me advice on like TikTok feedback. But Priya has been on the internet for a very long time, grew like fan accounts on Twitter. So today we're excited to dive in. But before we get started, we'd love to learn about where everybody is in this world and what is your relationship towards social media. I'm going to double check if it's live. It should be live, but I'm just like double checking it. So there is like a slight delay between what we see on YouTube. Click to join. Okay. There is like a 30-second delay between what we see on StreamYard versus LinkedIn. So it should be chill, but that generally takes like a minute for people to show up. Let me just dump the link in just in case they got the wrong one. Oh, cool. There's people in here. They're starting to trickle in. But yes, where is everyone in the world? Where are y'all based? And what is your relationship towards social media? So Priya, where are you normally based? And what is your relationship towards social media?
So I'm based between the Bay Area and LA, so anywhere in California. And my relationship with social media, I'm a chronic user, so not just a chronic scroller or anything like that. Like I've been posting insane amounts. Like I used to tweet like probably 20, 30 times a day. And I've been on all social media platforms since 2012, except for a couple. Like I haven't tried out Lemon 8, but I was on Tumblr, I was on Vine, I was on Instagram, obviously, Snapchat, Twitter, Musically, LinkedIn, obviously.
Yeah, you
How about
started to
you?
post every day on LinkedIn.
Yes,
How has
I
that
did.
been going?
So I shared a post on this actually when I hit 1K last week, but my first few days posting on LinkedIn was actually really difficult. And my understanding of LinkedIn was what most people's understanding of LinkedIn is that everyone's posting AI slop. And
Mhm.
so I decided to start posting AI slop, and I over time I got really good at understanding what my voice is and what LinkedIn really likes and looking at the engagement on my posts, and I was able to wean off of doing AI slop and actually posting real things on LinkedIn. So it's been really fun, and I've been growing really, really quickly.
That's so awesome. I know I see so much AI slob. It makes me sad. Yeah. Hi, Verishka. Hi, Salaj. Nice to see y'all here. I don't know why my banner's disappearing. I'm just gonna like make it not stop. It keep only shows for like 10 seconds. I don't know why, but would love to know where y'all are based when people are trickling in right now, and what is your relationship towards social media? I'm based in LA. I go back to Los Angeles for those because people ask. Sometimes I go back to San Francisco, aka Man Francisco, aka Tech Roland. Tech Roland. I've been on the internet. Actually, most design buddies are based in San Francisco because tech bros. We're all tech bros here. Yeah. I've been on the internet since I was Neopets. Actually, I was like 7 years old, and I was posting on the Neopian Times. I was doing art, and I had a friend who was a family friend. They were like in eighth grade and I was like in second grade, and she taught me, Eugenia, she taught me how to like draw and how to like draw like Oakaki like on the internet like back in the day, and like draw little Neopets like alerts and cheeks and post on the Neopian Times. So I started getting a lot of friend requests from random people on Neopets posting on the boards, and people kept asking me for my MySpace. And
Were you on MySpace?
I didn't know what MySpace was. I asked mommy and daddy, like, what's MySpace? And they're like, get the fuck off the internet. I'm like, no. And I was like, okay. I was like talking about like, oh, do you have a Tamagotchi? Because I was like loving Tamagotchis and pets. So yeah, that was fun. And I kind of like really started. I used my backgrounds in illustration, so I like did art, posted on DeviantArt. A lot of people following my little anime art. I did a lot of fan art, like Maple Story fan art. So I posted on this forum called Basil Market, grow a following on like my art through like fan art on Maple Story, and then started draw like my own original characters, designing anime art on DeviantArt, and then posting them on Tumblr, and then side quests. Basically, my mom started paying me to go to gym with her, so I started running a lot, and then posted about running on Tumblr, and then grew a lot on Tumblr. Stopped social media for a couple of years, and picked it back up again in 2020. Went viral on LinkedIn and Design Buddies, and grew a lot from there. But yes, would love to learn about everyone else's journey about social media and where y'all in Neopets. Yay, Bellevue.
Awesome.
We have Ashley from Bellevue, DB from based in LA, founder of Gift, a social media platform. Would love to hear more about Gift, by the way. Neopets, me too. Hi, Andrew, fellow Adobe creator buddy. But yeah, so let's dive into it. So, from your experience on social media over the years, what have you noticed the big changes are?
Algorithms. I know everyone's been complaining about algorithms. Algorithms usually change every 2 weeks on average. And I think that's been the biggest thing that I've had to adjust to because back when algorithms weren't a thing, it was really easy to grow your fan base. It was really easy to grow followers. And it was so simple to understand what the different platforms were for. So, for example, Twitter is for like where you dump your thoughts, and Instagram was where you wanted to create like a curated lifestyle. And that's still true today, but now people have more intentions of growing their audience as opposed to just kind of posting for their friends and family. And algorithms are actually really helpful for that, but when you don't understand how algorithms work, that's where it can kind of hurt your growth.
How do you go about staying on top of where the algorithm's going?
So my best advice, and I've given this advice to Grace as well, is you should pick your platforms that you really love and spend some time doom scrolling. I know that's like against what everyone else is saying, but if you really want to grow on a platform, you really need to understand what kind of people are on that platform. And the more you scroll, the more you'll understand the algorithm and you'll pick up speed really quickly.
When you go doom scrolling, how do you strategically doom scroll? So it doesn't feel like brain rot. Do you like analyze like the hooks, look at the comments, look at the content of it, think about why the algorithm fed you to that? Like how do you analytically doom scroll without brain rotting?
So I think there's an aspect of brain rot that you need to absorb when you're on social media because if you're not just like loosely using it just as a user, just as a scroller, you're not going to understand how the algorithm works. If you solely just use social media trying to pick up what the hooks are, what people are doing really well, how to grow, it's going to feel more like work. And you want to establish where those periods of where you're analyzing algorithms for work is and when you're spending time just doom scrolling and being a user of the algorithm as well. Yeah, does that answer that question?
How do you like so you just like acknowledge your brain rot like 6 sevens and acknowledge it's there and just like brain rot. Hi
Hi.
everyone. Oh hi Scarlett. Neopets is also my origin story, especially for web design. Yeah,
Very
HTML.
cool.
Chris is from Arlen, Texas. Verushka is from Arizona. Hoping to
I used to
post
go to
more.
school in Arizona, so go
Yay!
Arizona.
My mom also went to school in Arizona. I think
Oh,
the same
cool.
school you did.
ASU.
Yes.
Very
She
cool.
got a PhD there. She
That's
calls it permanent head damage.
it's funny.
Andrew, it seems so hard to grow followers on Instagram. We can dive into that as well. If you have any questions for anyone who's just joining in, let us know where you are tuning in from and any questions you have for us in the chat. Hello amigos, hope you're well. Hello Cigar, I see you. Hello from Brooklyn. I use social media for your
On
tattoo work. That's
Tumblr.
so cool. Andrew, I made the mistake of putting all my eggs in one basket and built up my Facebook. Yet everyone pays attention to now Instagram and not Facebook. We
We'll
can,
talk about that.
yeah, I'll talk about that too. NYC, London. Wow, wait, thanks for joining from London. I know it's like probably really late your time, so I appreciate you, Peter, for joining us this late. Hi Hannah.
Hi,
Hannah's also in
Hannah.
our house. We actually live in a content creator house, everyone. We're here in LA and we are just vibing here, doing LinkedIn lives. Um, yeah. So
Peru.
Peru. Wow. So we have like Europe, America, South America. That's pretty lit.
Canada.
Canada, Beckett from Edmonton, Canada. I've been doing volunteer social media work and relate to the fun art form, posting my first internet endeavors. Yay! Into ASU. ASU
Go,
as
go, Sun
well. Yay!
Devils.
Amazing. But yeah, let's talk about social media. I know like Facebook was big back in the day. Now I feel like TikTok. There's also Vine coming back. Like, where do you see? Because I know like when we first saw like 10 years, 20 years ago, it was all like Facebook, MySpace. But now you see Facebook kind of coming back. Well, let's dive into that.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to. Who is. Can I scroll?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Andrew.
Andrew, yes, you talked about Instagram and Facebook. So Facebook is actually coming back. And so, like Grace said, we live in a content creator house. We have a lot of creators in this house and the house right next door. And one of the creators actually downstairs right now had talked about wanting to grow a Facebook for her UGC business that she's running. And we actually talked about how Facebook is coming back and a lot of people are trying to grow on Facebook just because there's quote unquote oversaturation on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. And so people are trying to find what are the platforms that less people are using and how can I grow my following on there. So I wouldn't actually say that growing on Facebook as opposed to Instagram was a mistake, but I think it's more so are you using the platform to its fullest extent? So one of the things that I talked about with our housemate was monetizing on Facebook. And so she came to me because she said that she found someone that had a UGC group with 60,000 members in the Facebook group, and they charge $10 per month. So she's making 600K per month just off of running a Facebook group where she just posts about UGC. And so I think there's actually a lot of opportunity with Facebook and with these monetization things and tools that Facebook has had even before Instagram was monetized. Maybe you're just not looking into what Facebook can offer you. But because Instagram, Facebook, and Threads are all connected, that kind of gives you a one up. So when people are following you on Facebook, they're probably bugged about following you on Instagram and following you on Threads. So use that to your advantage and kind of slowly start understanding Instagram, spending some time on Reels and spending some time on your For You page and understanding exactly what works out for you on Instagram. But Instagram is a whole another conversation, so we can discuss that in a moment too.
Yeah, I know Facebook is pretty lit. Like Facebook still has billions of users, especially like people who are slightly older, which are really good if you do brand deals, because that means if you have an older audience, you can charge more because they have more spending power. So don't sleep on Facebook. Also, Zuck is trying to make Facebook cool again. It used to be really cool when I was in high school, and then our parents got on it, so it became less cool, I guess. But there's so much money being poured into Facebook right now, especially Reels bonuses. But what is your thought on Facebook, like content you see versus Facebook and Instagram?
So I actually am not a scroller on Facebook. So I haven't spent a lot of time on Facebooks, but my understanding of Facebook is that it's a little bit more professional and put together than Instagram, just because if you think about the user base, a lot of times Facebook has an older audience because they understand Facebook better than Instagram. Instagram is more of the Instagram model, like 20s to 30s, a lot of very aesthetic feeds, whereas Facebook is more of like a blog. So you post something, it kind of disappears the same way that you would post to TikTok or Twitter and it disappears. Whereas Instagram, you want to make sure your grid is really cohesive. You're posting reels, you're doing this and that, and you have stories. Yeah, I think Facebook is more of a community where people are actually interacting with the person that runs the account as opposed to Instagram where it's like the person kind of controls the account.
Yeah, I agree. Like groups and stuff. I feel like groups are coming back. Why do you think that happened? I know groups were so big in like 2018, 2019 during COVID, and they kind of died, and now they're coming back. What do you think happened there?
I think it's because we are fully in the content like era. We are in the creator era and everybody wants to and can be a content creator today. And like I said, I think platforms like Instagram and TikTok seem to be either oversaturated. And the reason why I say oversaturated is because in social media, there's no such thing as oversaturation. But a lot of people that I work with when I do social media strategy or consultancy, a lot of older people tell me that they don't understand TikTok trends. They're not on TikTok all the time. They're not super fast the way that TikTok is. And so they can't really understand the platform. And same with Instagram as well. And so a lot of people have been just moving to platforms that they either understand or they think has less people. But like Grace has said, there's so many people on Facebook. There's a misconception that there's less people on there. But I think it's just a psychological thing. So.
Yeah, because like I'm active on Facebook still, but not as active before. But I've noticed that I used to go on a lot of cruises with my parents. I'm in the cruise Facebook groups. These people who are like 50 plus cannot understand AI slop versus non-AI slop. They think it's real, which is kind of scary. But like I feel like this audience is super valuable, especially if your niche is towards like older audience, because they're like high value to advertisers too. So don't sleep on Facebook. I need to post on Facebook too.
I'm in a
Uh,
Facebook group.
oh,
You have
interesting
almost
one.
400K on a Facebook group?
Wait, that's amazing.
You should definitely start charging for something.
Yeah, I would love to know what the Facebook groups. I know my members would not. How would you know they would not pay?
You don't
Um,
know until you try, for
yeah,
sure.
even like $10 a month for that UGC group is really cool because it's $10 a month.
I
Um,
think on the aspect of like how are you going to monetize your audience, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. And I'm actually creating an app to help creators figure out how to monetize their audiences or how to start businesses off of their existing audience or engagement that they already have. And so I know a lot about like how you can do research into what your audience would pay for. But yeah, that would be my first advice is do some research and engage with your audience a little bit more and see what they're interested in. And then see if you can start giving out some free advice and free help, free education. And then start figuring out if you can start charging for more specialized, more specific education and resources.
Mm-hmm. Members are so cheap. Wait. Oh, I see. We'll have to know what the group is. And
I think it's the same way as running a business, right?
yeah.
Like you always think that people are really cheap, but you never really know how much they're going to pay until you start charging. And if you do start charging, you can like change your content in a way where it's like, okay, I am giving like 20% of this data out and education out for free, but 80% of it I charge for. Or the other way around, where you give 80% of it for free, but 20% of it you charge for.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Andrew runs a Photoshop and Lightroom group. If these people pay for an Adobe subscription, they could be paying for a Facebook group. So,
Right. And
mm-hmm.
Grace would know this a lot more than me, but you can get sponsored by a
Mm-hmm.
lot of bigger brands that will pay for you to do some sponsored posts on there as well. So there's many
Yeah,
ways you can monetize that
Adobe has a lot of
audience.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about Threads? Seems like a new wave of energy enthusiasm on it.
Threads, I think, is very similar to Twitter. So there's Threads, there's Twitter, and there's Blue Sky. They're all just thought-based platforms where you're just writing content. You're literally just writing something that's kind of like in a sentence or two, and then posting it and just letting it be. So in my experience, because I've grown the most on Twitter, it's the easiest to grow on because once you get in the habit of thinking and like actually listening to your thoughts, you start to think of all of these tweets that you want to post. And so, just to give some context, I grew an audience of 50,000 followers back in 2014. And then I didn't do anything with it because there was no monetization. It was just for fun. It was a fan page for One Direction. And 2 years ago in 2023, during the summer, I actually qualified for the monetization program on Twitter. So I was getting paid through the creator program. And both of those times where I like grew a platform, it was just tweeting all the time as much as I could. I tried to sneak my phone in between classes when I was in high school and tweet in between and just tweet it when you can. So same thing with Threads, I think.
What would you tweet about?
Honestly, just whatever. I think now with algorithms, you really have to kind of choose a niche that you want to be in. So the second time around when I was monetized, this was post Elon. So there were algorithms that were introduced. So we had a For You page and everything. I was in the tech niche. So I tried to post things that I thought tech bros would find really funny. And I was able to figure out what tech bros would find really funny because their humor is very, they have like one type of thing that they find really funny. So
What
if
is
you
that
can,
type of thing?
they
From your
love
experience.
puns. They love
Oh.
puns. They love puns. They love anything with tech. And so, for example, I was like walking in the street of San Francisco, very tech city, and there was a whiteboard with a neural net on it, which is like AI and machine learning, how like the tech works. I took a photo of that and I said, free AI on the streets of San Francisco, and that got almost like 500,000 views. So, really stupid things for sure.
Yeah, really stupid things. I yelled AI in San Francisco and that one got 1.5 million views.
You should talk about your post on Thread that did super well.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of Threads, I've noticed. This is I know Andrew. I think you're based in LA, right? LA loves Threads, and San Francisco loves Twitter. I rage baited like hundreds of people on Threads the other day because I wrote this I posted on LinkedIn recently. I wrote like, why is LA so unemployed? The gym is so full on a Wednesday afternoon. It got freaking like 60K views and so many tweets and retweets. And I even got my first hate comment on my face. They're like, who is this kid or whatever? They like took a screenshot of my face and was like insulting my face. I never got that before, but I was like, well, show me your face. And they were too like a coward to show it. So that was like insane. It's like my I didn't expect that to blow up. Like literally, like as Priya mentioned, just living about your daily life, thinking about random thoughts around you and posting it is what does viral. I had random like things about LA that I post on threads, like culturally realize about LA. And then culturally, like at the same time, like in San Francisco, I'd post about shit tech bros say, and those go viral on Twitter. Um, and then I like to use like the tags on threads. So like hashtag, it's like you can have one little hashtag on threads. I use like Los Angeles a lot. That always goes viral. Yeah, it's like unemployment in LA. I don't know why. People are so offended. I don't know why. It's just like yeah. Oh, sorry, I was only- Oh, Threads also, Jay says Threads is also quite big in Japan, but yeah, rage baiting also.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't actually look
Interesting.
at how social media performs in other countries just because America is like social media hub and like we get paid for all this stuff and it's really difficult to pay attention to what are the rules in Europe that's happening. Like I know you can't download TikTok until you're 16 in Europe, I believe.
Mhm.
In the US it's 13. So too many rules to keep track of, but it's really cool to hear that Threads is big in Japan. So I will start posting threads in Japanese just to reach that
Yeah, we should
audience.
try that out. Yeah. Also, this is Jay's first LinkedIn live stream. Thanks for joining us, Jay.
Hi.
We're honored to be your first LinkedIn live stream. Yeah. Threads. Oh, also, what I realized with like social media is people think it's all like what you mentioned to me earlier. It was like it's like people think it's about them, so they get really offended.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's just sad as a society how people take so much offense to unemployment because we reduce our entire self-worth to our jobs. It was just sad. I've been that also went kind of viral on LinkedIn. Just people and jobs and it's weird, guys. Capitalism shit. Um, yeah. Joan asked, "Here's some of your thoughts on Blue Sky versus Facebook."
Um, so they're two completely different companies. So that's like the first thing right off the bat. Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, and Threads for anyone that isn't aware of that. And Blue Sky is a completely independent startup, actually. I think they're based in San Francisco, but I'm unsure. So I actually was on Blue Sky before it was open to the public. I was one of the first people to get a link to access the beta back when you had to invite 10 people to get an access to Blue Sky and some really cool CEOs followed me on Blue Sky because I was super early. So Dylan Field, I believe, CEO of Figma,
Mhm.
follows me on Blue Sky because of that. So that's my experience with Blue Sky, and I ended up not really using it just because it's very similar to Twitter, and I just thought there was more value in Twitter, unfortunately. But yeah, so with that right off the bat, I think it's just different audiences. I think someone asked about Blue Sky being political as well in the comments. It's just different audiences, and what you need to realize with all of these social medias is that there is like corners of like the social media verse. So back when I was on Twitter in middle school and high school, we used to say corners of the Twitter verse. The same way you would talk about like Marvel. Today, I think they call it like teapot on Twitter, which means this part of Twitter. So there's different terms for the different niches, I believe, that are on social media, but you can use any social media platform to whatever niche that you want to be in. So if you want to use Blue Sky for like um, water bottle collection, like you can do that. If you want to use Blue Sky for like a knitting group, you can do that. If you want to be political, Blue Sky, Twitter, very political platforms. Facebook is also a very political platform. But I wouldn't discredit a platform because there's a lot of political
Mhm.
people on there. So to say that only like Blue Sky only has people that are very political. Blue Sky is kind of like the liberal version of Twitter, so there is that kind of like notion that goes around just because it's owned by like a startup as opposed to a big corporation and a billionaire. But yeah, I wouldn't discredit a platform just because of these labels.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like everything can be political. Like your friend group can be political. So don't like discredit something because it just does the algorithm just depends on what you interact with, what they show you. So just don't interact with political content. And I think in most social media apps you can tell it to like don't show this type of content. So you can always curate your feed.
Blue Sky
But
is really good for
gotta
people
go.
into coding. The platform still has a small audience, so it's easier to be heard and interact with big names. I agree with this, and I think that was exactly my point when I said that CEO Figma follows me on Blue Sky. So I think the smaller the social media platform, or the more new it is, or the more like nuanced it is, it's actually a lot of opportunity as opposed to thinking like nobody's on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We have a question about a couple of questions about hashtags. I remember when I first started Instagram, hashtags were big. There were like apps in the App Store that help you find like which hashtags to use. And I think that now Instagram limits to 5 hashtags and TikTok limits to 3 or 5 as well. Yeah, what are your thoughts about hashtags, captions, SEO for Instagram?
Yeah, so hashtags are an interesting thing, and it's really interesting to me that people are still talking about hashtags and SEO because in the era of AI, SEO is kind of changing into like are LLMs and chatbots going to be able to pull up what you want as opposed to Google, and so SEO is kind of dying, which is the sentiment that I'm getting from the tech world. In terms of hashtag, so I know a lot of the creators that I work with on my app actually have talked to me about hashtags, more specifically on TikTok. But hashtags, even though it's limited to five, actually do like very close to zero weight because the way that the TikTok algorithm works is it takes your video and it transcribes it to a long form like transcription. So they do a lot of the categorization with your transcription. They also use AI and VR to understand your video and they transcribe it based on that. And so hashtags, if you think about it, are like it's like 5 words in comparison to maybe like 30,000 words from your
Mm.
video and your transcription um, categorization. And so if you think of it in that sense, like even with me playing around with hashtags, my best videos never had hashtags. And the videos that had hashtags, they performed like pretty mid. So I wouldn't say that hashtags don't help, but I don't think it's as necessary as it used to be. And then just an example of how I know hashtags used to exist is because back when I was like in the One Direction fan days, I also had an Instagram that was running. I would do like a lot of design edits on my phone using an app called Pixar, and I'd post that to Instagram. And how I would be able to find my own post through like something that was trending was using a hashtag. So it used to be super, super important, but today I feel like it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, those things, I love throwbacks. I remember I used to be in art Instagram and there were like different trends, different fan art, and different like art competitions you would submit to and use the hashtag to be found. I don't think there's that kind of stuff anymore. But I know like sometimes in events, it's like config or like Adobe Max, they have a hashtag. So it's good to use these hashtags when you're talking about an event because it's also a trending topic right now, and you will probably find people attending the same event.
Yes, so I think
Too.
on the point of our hashtags really dead on Instagram, they're not dead in the sense that you're using hashtags to help the algorithm categorize your niche and your content. You're using hashtags to be able to search something or index something later on.
Mm.
So if you were to go to Adobe Express, let's say Adobe Express 2026, they might have the hashtag Adobe Express 26. That way the corporation can go through that hashtag and find all of the stuff where they don't have to like search it through like TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And so if you're creating a really unique hashtag to your own event or to your own company or something like that, that's where hashtags really do most of the weight today. But trying to tell the algorithm like my video is design based, my video is tech based, like that unfortunately doesn't really do anything.
I see. Yeah, 'cause algorithms getting smarter. So sometimes I heard adding alt text helps with your carousels on images. I always add alt text because I was like CEO, keyword in my alt text. I don't think it makes a difference. Yeah, let's talk about personal branding. I know there's a lot of designers here, and a lot of people we have some questions that were like submitted actually earlier. So I want to hear about your experiences actually going viral. So, what are some of the most viral posts you've had, and how would you say it has helped your growth, and how would you describe like the brand you want to portray on social media today?
That's very interesting. So I'm sure you guys have heard virality is actually bad for you or it doesn't matter. And I think people don't understand the weight of that until you actually go super mega viral and you understand how that actually hurts you in turn. So, for example, my most viral piece of content in the last couple of years was a tweet that got 16 million impressions in the span of like 2 days. So basically, and I'm very vocal about this. I have nothing to hide, but I was on TikTok one day. I had very low followers. I had like no more than like 8 likes per tweet. I saw this TikTok and then I thought it was really funny. So I like tweeted it. And then I didn't expect it to blow up. I tweeted it at midnight. I got like 1 like before I went to sleep. And then I woke up and it was like 500,000 views and it was like consistently blowing up. And so I ended up crediting the original poster in the tweet because I didn't expect it to do that. So that is all there. And I never claimed that it was my original tweet or anything. But because of that, a lot of people thought I was just kind of like copying content without giving credits because I didn't expect that tweet to go viral. So I didn't put credits in the original tweet. But because of that, I lost a lot of followers, but I also gained a lot of followers because they thought that all of my content was based on that one tweet that they had seen. So for context, my entire Twitter was tech Twitter, and I had gone viral outside of tech Twitter. So I was attracting a lot of people who thought I was just kind of like posting whatever I wanted or like shit posting. But I'm not a shit poster. I'm very serious on tech Twitter, and I was growing a startup at the time. So that was what my entire Twitter account was based on. So I gained a lot of followers and I lost all those followers because they were expecting content from me that I wasn't giving. So that's where virality can kind of hurt you because you grow really quickly, but then you don't actually like capture those people. So going viral within a niche is also super important. I think that's where having your caption kind of match what your video is about and having consistency in the type of videos or tweets that you're doing is really more important.
What was that post?
So it was a joke about liquidating your assets.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes. I actually don't really know what liquidating your assets means, but there is a girl on TikTok who said, I love to liquidate my assets. I turn it into liquid forms. So she gave some examples of like getting a Starbucks drink or getting a smoothie or whatever. So I took that and then I gave my own original examples. So I did like an Erewhon smoothie, McDonald's Sprite, and I don't know, something else that I thought would sit, like my friends would think were funny. And so people were expecting me to give more like financial jokes, but I'm not a financial poster and I don't really do jokes unless it like randomly comes up.
Yeah, liquidating. That's so awesome. Yeah, I've also been viral for screaming AI, and it attracted like a lot of weird audiences. I don't know how many followers it gave me from that because I feel like I just pissed people off. But people were sure I was getting recognized on the streets of San Francisco for that for a while. For a while, like I couldn't like go outside without at least one or two people randomly recognizing me from that video. That's pretty insane. And also another time, one that got 75 million views on LinkedIn about interviewing tech bros on their salaries, which is kind of weird.
Whoa, 1.5
Wow.
million followers?
Wait, I would love to know what that was, Jay. Like, had a video got 62 million views on Instagram, giving me 1.5 million followers. That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
really crazy.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah. Aditya says, my experience with hashtags not that useful for immediate engagement outside of events, but help people discover much older content out of the blue. Oh, so useful, just as important, not important as I used to be. I'm also curious, like if you like add a hashtag as a comment on Instagram, like a month later, do you think it would still surface it?
Yeah,
Sure.
so it really depends on like what's trending at the moment. So
Hmm.
I had a TikTok, I didn't do super well, but I got like around 30,000 views. When I first posted it, I think I got like 20 views. Like I promise you, like TikTok was like, I don't like this video, I'm not gonna push it or anything. Literally was stuck at 20 views. And it was stuck at 20 views for 2 whole months. I thought that video was just like dead. I don't know what happened. I was like, okay, TikTok really doesn't like this video, even though it was in my niche. 2 months later, the topic that I was talking about in the video, I guess, was circulating on like other social media platforms like Twitter. It was circulating in like traditional media. It was circulating in LA and New York City. So people were like searching this. So the SEO like kind of skyrocketed through ChatGPT and also the searches on other social media engines. My video went from 20 views to 30,000 views, and I had a reporter reach out to me because of that video. And so I think going back to videos that you really want to do and like perform better, if you are talking about something that's like going viral, I guess like a few months later or something, it might be worth it to go and try to comment some
Mm.
hashtags and get that like algorithm growing.
What was that video?
I was unboxing a friend. And so what a friend is, it's
Mm.
an AI wearable that my friend had made. The reason why he named it friend is because it's supposed to be like a friend that you wear. So yeah, that did terrible. I was like, okay, TikTok really hates AI wearables or something. But then it started trending because he did like this huge like marketing campaign.
Yeah, you might have seen those friend billboards in your city too if you live in America. And you had a semi strange post go semi viral on Facebook. Shared a screenshot with a simple comment about the new Frankenstein movie, and they got almost 200K views and a lot of comments. Yeah, sometimes the most randomest stuff you do gets the most likes. And Jay's video was I was a video teaching propositions in English on a whiteboard. Yeah, it makes sense. It's like educational. People see that you're really good at teaching and want to follow you for educational advice too. Love to like see your content too if you're down to comment your handle. Let's take some questions from our audience. We had a bunch of questions I selected. One is like relevant to like, shit posting. I'd love to know about. Wait, there's like a timer thing I added on here. So one question that was submitted by my audience is like, would shitposting as a smaller creator like be silly? I can't stand how professional LinkedIn can be and want to find my people and still have fun.
I think you should answer this first.
Yeah, shitposting, it depends. It really depends. Like one thing I would like question is if you're trying to get a job, then I would be more careful about it. And I'll only shitpost if it aligns to your brand. So if you're like more silly, what do you want to do comedian, like comedy, maybe work in the gaming industry, then yes. If you're finance bro, medical tech, probably no. Um, yeah, and I think LinkedIn, at the end of the day, if people, I think LinkedIn people should still take it seriously, like not shit post too hard and not post like too many polarizing political views because it can impact you professionally negatively just because a lot of people who are watching are like your bosses, you know, you've worked with, people who you might need like a recommendation from. So it depends what kind of shit posting though. I've shit posted before on my LinkedIn and I try not to like offend anybody, even though people always get offended, but I'll just post light stuff, like performative tech bro starter packs, like kind of poking fun, but not like punching down on anyone, just like making fun of like culture, but try not to offend anyone and not say something that would ostracize a whole group. Don't say anything like racist, sexist, anything that makes fun of like any groups of people. But can make fun of like different cultures. For example, talk about tech bros, LA influencers, how weird they are. That is okay. I think that is okay. But if you're talking about like a race or like a job demographic, then that's probably bad.
I think I agree with Grace. So one thing I want to preface is I have always told people to post more on social media. Every job I have ever gotten was through social media. I am now a startup founder because of social media. I love social media. Like social media cannot do me wrong, basically. And I think it opens up a ton of opportunities for people. And I have been saying this for the past 14 years. And I think people are finally now starting to see the value of social media. And so I think there is that aspect there. But I think across all social platforms, if there is something that doesn't sit right with the demographic that you're trying to fit into or like go into that world. So what Grace said, like especially if you're trying to get a job, if you're trying to get into something more serious like finance or political or medical and stuff like that, where you know that demographic does not like shit posting, probably don't do that. And so I have like silly posted. That's a little bit different than shit posting. I don't really attack people. I don't really think to attack people in my daily life anyway, so I don't really do that. I kind of just talk about what interests me, talk more about my life, and share more of myself online. So I really think what your definition of shit posting is matters here because you can poke fun at yourself, you can poke fun at your friends, you can be yourself online. Like if you go to my LinkedIn posts, I don't think I fit the typical normal what most LinkedIn posts are because in my experience when I scroll through the feed, people are talking about milestones they had or like jobs that they had or things that they learned that taught them about B2B SaaS. And I'm more of like taking inspiration from the music world or from the entertainment world and tying that with tech and kind of using it as my personal blog, just talk about normal things. And I don't see a lot of people using it that way. So in that sense, I am kind of silly posting and talking and making it more personalized, but I'm not attacking anyone. I'm not making tech bros feel bad. I'm not making founders feel bad. So it's just kind of the way in which you frame things.
Yeah, just depends. All about framing, and just make sure to don't offend a certain group of people. Because educational videos seem to convert to followers higher than anyone else. Yeah, shit posting, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes you can lose followers, in my experience. So really be strategic. And just
On the
okay.
educational sorry on
Mhm.
the educational video side, this is something I've learned very recently and I really want to help other creators that are doing educational content. Yes, you can do educational content and it gets you followers and stuff like that, but in your example, Jay, when you said that you got some like a post that went super viral and you got 1.5 million followers, are you taking the opportunity to think about how you can monetize that?
Mhm.
Because by giving out education for free, that's like great. And I always love when people are doing educational content. I myself do educational content as well. But are you getting something back from that? And if your goal at the end of the day is just for the love of the game, like I've been there, I've been doing that for 12 years. I only did it for the love of the game. So that's totally fine. But if you want to make money off of your content, that's a great way to start is how can you make your educational content kind of help them, but also help yourself as well.
Yeah, there's so many directions you can go. Like, for example, Andrew makes like Adobe tutorial videos. You can teach people. You can have brand sponsorships, coaching. And this is Jay's hand. I'll check your content out. Thanks for tuning in. I also we're honored to be your first LinkedIn live you sat into. Yay! Yeah. Oh, hi
Can we do the
Tommy.
confetti again?
Oh, yes.
Does it
It's
work?
Apple. I don't know. It sometimes it does it with the balloons. It's okay. Just pretend there's balloons there.
Okay.
Oh, hi, Tommy. Tommy's amazing. He's one of my good friends. I've known him for a long time. He's a super crack design creator, does UX tools. So, for those watching in the chat, recommend checking out Tommy's content, designer Tom, on LinkedIn. Verusa asks, if you had to start today, what would you do on LinkedIn and IG to build a following?
I think
Hmm.
you start.
Okay. Oh man, I started on LinkedIn like 5 years ago, but I think today LinkedIn has when I started on LinkedIn, like it was all about like, oh yeah, I'm excited to announce I'm better than all of you, basically. Like, oh my God, look at me, I'm sweet at Google, blah. And I think people expect more on LinkedIn now. They expect to know you, your stories, your struggles, how you got through it. So a good LinkedIn post could be like introducing yourself. A second one could be like a success you had in your career and how you failed to get there. Because people love a good story, they love a good hero's journey, they love character development. So including those in a LinkedIn post, and I feel like LinkedIn posts have like two main purposes. One is educational, and one is like more inspirational. So making people feel good. So the educational one, teaching people something practical, distilling tips, kind of like something that's like beyond like a tweet, but like more like they can learn something that can apply to them today. Or inspirational, like a story, like a struggle, so people feel less alone. They feel like they're not alone and they feel less bad about themselves. So like those two type of posts, and I noticed that LinkedIn video is LinkedIn algorithm is going through a time right now. So don't like LinkedIn is like you get a lot of views but not a lot of likes because a lot of people will view your content but they don't like it because their boss will see. So don't take that personally. And I think LinkedIn focusing on quality over quantity is good. Like for example, right now what's performing well for me is like GIFs or photos plus text post. Text posts don't do that well. Video was doing really well for me earlier this year, but I recently discovered one of my videos I posted a month ago had 300K views. I just saw
Whoa.
that. Yeah, it was my shit tech bros say
Oh
skit.
my gosh.
My skit did a lot of views. So videos are hit or miss. So I would still recommend trying out LinkedIn video and whatever career you're in, video is such a great skill to get yourself comfortable with talking with the camera, public speaking, improv. So I think viewing content creation as a way to improve your soft skills and communication skills is how I would approach it. The audience is secondary. Like it's cool people follow you, but mostly focus on like how at least how I feel is like you increase your skills because you can't control you focus on what you can control, not what the audience can control. And same thing with Instagram, like carousels are doing really well. I think reels are starting to die down a little bit. Carousels and photos and like a good story. Instagram, I feel like you have to have both platforms. You have to kind of have a niche to start with because no one will care about you until you grow a following and then you can branch out. So recommend starting with like a niche, whatever you do for your career first, or whatever niche you want to go in, and then expanding on from there. How about you?
I think you have a lot more to say about LinkedIn than me, but I do agree. I think what Grace said about having some, like talking about milestones that you've gotten or talking about like job related stuff on LinkedIn is probably the best way to go. I had about 900 followers when I started posting on LinkedIn like 3 weeks ago, and I'm now at 1,000, around 1,030. So about how much is that? Like 130 followers in like a couple weeks, and all I really did was start posting, period. Like I tried to make every post that I wrote something that the reader can learn and understand, and learn. I already said that. Learn from. But yeah, I'm not super great at LinkedIn. I think Grace is probably better to say about that. But in terms of Instagram, so Instagram is a very multifaceted platform that I understand a little bit better. So there's the aspect of entertaining your existing audience and entertaining new audiences. And so that's where the features kind of diverge. And so if you have an existing audience that you want to keep under learning about you and entertaining, you want to post on stories more, you want to post on your feed more, you want to post more photos and carousels like Grace said. But if you want to grow your audience, that's what Reels is really there for. And there's two types of ways that you can post Reels. You can post Reels on your feed, or you can post trial Reels. And you get access to trial Reels when you once you hit 1K. So really trying to engage that original audience to engage with your posts, trying to have your friends and family like your posts and share your posts and stuff like that until you can hit 1K. Or maybe just go out and network until you hit 1K. And then you can start posting on trial Reels. But that's how I would tell anyone to really grow on an Instagram. And a lot of the Instagram creators that I do work with, that's kind of their format that they work with today also. I've seen a lot of people posting on trial reels and then posting that on their story and trying to like engage both audiences with the same content. That also really works. And a hack that I learned about LinkedIn recently, I think that really depends on the person, but if your goal with LinkedIn is to grow your following, connect with every person that you see. Like just connect with everyone, because every connect also transforms into a follow. I think there's a misconception that people can't unfollow you, so you can be connected to someone and they can unfollow you. But I have spoken to a creator that said that they're just going to connect with everyone, because that grows their followers like really, really quickly. And so if that's something that you're interested in, that's also a really quick hack.
Oh yeah, connect with everyone, even you would not know in person. I should try that. But yeah, I think you have like a max 30,000 connections, but I doubt anyone will reach that soon. I have like 50 something K followers and like 24K connections, so I had to be a little bit careful with that. Um, yeah, we love LinkedIn. I trial reels too. Yes, I post what interests me and share IG examples of educational content, showcase Adobe software, share insight. That's cool. Yeah, Tommy is the goat as well. Go follow Tommy, everyone. Tommy's amazing. Um, Mara Veloso is trying to get into design. It's so competitive and feel overwhelmed. Well, LinkedIn, you can stand out in front of your competition. I also know we have some topics to talk about like brands. Because I know like kind of a lot of people here might manage like brand accounts. How do you go about like your personal social media versus creating content for like a brand?
Um, That's very interesting. I think you have more experience with brands than me. I have been sent PR in the past, but I've never done like official paid promotion. I've always, again, done it for love of the game. So I never had any criteria of what I needed to do for brands. And I was in a stage in life where getting free PR was really exciting for me. And so I just posted again, just because I wanted to show like how excited I was to be able to receive PR and talk about exactly how that worked out for me. And so for me in specific, I have accepted PR only from Twitter. So I've been sent some clothing from clothing brands. I've been sent like I think it was a 24 or 36 pack of Olipop, which is insane because I'm like a huge like Olipop fan. And then there's like other brands like Partiful that do things just for fun and they sponsor like parties and stuff like that. But yeah, I've never really done anything for paid, so I think you probably have a lot more to say there.
Oh yeah. Oh, ship posting and brand image, man. So, okay, in LA, I've learned there's two main ways creators can make money. This is outside of like your W-2 job. Number one is from horny men, and number two is from big corporations. And you can't have both. So making sure, yeah, I'm spilling the real tea here. I mean, there's a lot of money in both areas, but when you work with brands, make sure your content is safe for work. Don't ship post too much because I've also talked with certain brands, and some of their like influencer managers said that they decide not to partner up with certain creators because they didn't feel like it was brand safe. I just overheard them talking to me. I remember they mentioned that when they were talking to me, so that made me think a lot about what kind of content I want to post. So I stopped like shit posting too hard. Like I would keep my shit posts on TikTok. My TikTok is like less professional, it's just me trying out random stuff, and not shit post on LinkedIn because you want to make sure your content is brand safe. It's not doesn't like not political. Like a brand will want to associate with it. So but you can still showcase your personality. Doesn't mean you to like be sterile corporate, but just make sure don't not offensive or anything like that too. Um, like working with brands, I've had a whole mixed experience. Most of the time have been positive. Like I really like brands when they give you creative freedom, that they trust you as a creator instead of forcing you to read from a script. I tend to work with a lot of like design and tools and like tech companies, which are pretty open-minded. I notice like as more and more Gen Z come into the workforce, the more chill they are, which is pretty cool too. So I would just like try to work with I'll try to hop on a call with them to understand what are their goals, who their target audience is, how I can help them, and design like a little campaign that helps them out the most. That will like align to their goals and ask them how they measure success. I also like to ask the manager like, oh, how do I make you look good to your boss? Like, what metrics do you care about? How do I demonstrate success to you? So I just treat them like a partner, not just like a client. Well, a client, but like more just like a coworker or like a partner that you're here to help each other out. You're help them, they give you money, it's a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I think so. There's different types of ways you can build branding. There's like the UGC, where you basically are more like a salesperson and you're going based off what brands want you to post. And then there's your personal brand. And I think in terms of what is more important, it really depends on what your goals are. If your goal at the end of the day is just to work on money and you don't really care about having an audience that like Grace likes to say, is like a cult following, or someone that really loves like what you want to post and what you think and how you go about the world and things that you accomplish, then go ahead, just do UGC and just do paid promotion on accounts that don't have like huge engagement, huge followers. But if your goal at the end of the day is to build an online presence and you want to be, I think influencer is the wrong word, but I think you understand what I'm saying with an influencer, where you have essentially influence over an audience and they're really, really engaged in what you do. And you get to a point where like you can sell things and they'll buy it, or you can do a pop up and people will show up. I think working on personal branding and not doing a lot of paid promotion is actually probably going to be more helpful in the early stages. So the
Mhm.
first few years, unless you're like an anomaly and you just like grow really quickly, really fast, I think people will be very supportive when you do get those first brand deals.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if you're already talking about, let's say you're like a running creator, you wear Asics running shoes. If you work with Asics, it'd be a natural fit to your brand. So collabing with brands that you already use, like Adobe, I already use Adobe, so it's like a natural fit to like my brand. So making sure, yeah, especially like early on developing your audience, because without them, you don't exist. Like you can't like there's no social media. So when you think about making content, make it like for your audience first, and the brands are secondary. And I feel like it's more worth it long term because at least people go to social media with different reasons. Like some people like there's like UGC versus like influencer deals. Like UGC is a lot of money, but at the same time, a lot of creators burn out because they feel like they're making content for another brand. They start to lose like, oh, what is my own personal brand? So, but it's also a very lucrative side hustle or main hustle. So it just depends on your goals, whether you want to build a community or make money. There's no right or wrong answer here. Yeah, ship posting seems perfect for threads, but never on LinkedIn. Yes, you can ship. Yeah, I just ship post on threads. I just hope a lot of brands don't see my threads. I don't ship post that much. I don't go that hard. I don't have that many controversial opinions.
Yeah, just on that topic, like I also am someone like if you meet me in person, I will always say digital footprint doesn't exist or I don't believe that it exists because of how many opportunities social media has gotten me. But at the same time, digital footprint does exist in the fact that people can do background searches on you. And so your name is attached to everything, you know? So people can find you based on your face or based on your name. So even though you're using one platform, you're really like brand safe, and another platform you're really not, that in itself, like your personal branding is still not brand safe in general because they don't want their audience to search up your name and find your content that doesn't really fit the brand vibe. And a lot of really big brands and a lot of really big influencers have been their digital footprint has been searched by fans or people who are just kind of like observing and watching these ads, and it can be a lot to deal with. So I do recommend if you want to be brand safe everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. Cause like they never go away. Like, cause people, you see how celebrity tweets go viral from 2013. They know. They search. They search. The internet. They're very smart people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the future of social media, like I know you. Let me just take off the timer. I don't know why this timer keep showing up, but we talked about hashtags going away. We talked about like Instagram, Reels, Facebook. What kind of other trends do you see coming up for social media?
So I actually think trends are almost dying. I think
Mm.
what we're going to see a lot more, and we've already started to see since this summer, is more storytelling, more personal branding. And that's why a lot of creators on LinkedIn I've seen are focusing on storytelling, on personal branding, or how to really hone in on a social media platform. So for the past couple of years, I think people were kind of trying to be like multi-platform, and that was something that I was also telling a lot of brands and founders that they should be multi-platform. But now, as so many platforms are starting to get back on the map, and it really doesn't matter what you're big on, like I can get into a TikTok room with telling people I was big on Twitter. Like it really doesn't matter what platform you're on. I think it makes more sense to kind of pick your platform or pick like a couple if you can fit it into your day and really focus on engaging with your audience. And so we already talked about this, but trying to appeal to the brands that you want to work with or appeal to the audience that you want to grow and really focus on that as opposed to like a one hit wonder tweet. Because really, what is that going to do for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the communities are being more fragmented. Like, there's less. Well, I don't know. Here's to hear your thoughts on this too, because I feel like in the 2010s and 2000s, there's a lot of worship on celebrity, mainstream media, versus in 2020, there's explosion in like communities, Discord servers, micro niche communities, people having their own unique interests. Like I remember in high school, when I was in like middle school, high school in the 2010s, like being into anime was such like a weird thing versus it's like cool to have these like niche interests now. You're like cool if you like listening to indie artists, but in middle school you're cool if you listen to like the mainstream media, like Justin Bieber or whatever. Um, and do you feel like there's still a lot of like worship on celebrity culture versus like more micro communities? Because I've seen how like people worship Taylor Swift. They're like Swifties, like a cult. What are your thoughts on like fragmentation of like that sounds really technical.
Fragmentation.
Fragmentation of like mainstream media and trends and consumer behavior.
Yeah, so I think that the celebrity worship is probably something that's not going to go away because just as humans, we like to see, we like to have idols or we like to have people we aspire to be like. And then one day, maybe you can get to the place where you want it to be and you don't idolize people anymore. But I think the young, hi, Kathy. I think the young generation, like the teenage girls or the preteens, are always going to find some like really strong, independent woman like Taylor Swift to cling onto. And that's why I also was really big into like fandoms when I was really little. And so I actually heard of this company called Lore. Their website is lore.obsessed, and they're creating a centralized place where fandoms can live. So I don't think the fandom energy or like people idolizing people is really going to go away. But I am in my head, I'm telling people that actually the YouTube era is coming back. And so a lot of people can start YouTube channels. And YouTube is one of the platforms that's like the hardest to grow on. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of consistency. And out of all the social media platforms, that's probably the hardest, but the most valuable because your audience really, really is your audience as opposed to any other platform. And people are starting to make time for YouTube again. People are making time to watch YouTube. People are moving from Twitch to watching VODs on YouTube. Like the YouTube era is coming back, and I know a lot of creators that started on YouTube transitioned to Vine, transitioned to TikTok, or actually transitioning back to YouTube. They've evolved as creators. So I know someone that used to do like the OG like 2010s, like really oversaturated, like back to school type of videos, is now a DJ. And so she went back to YouTube and she's like showing her DJing process, and she's DJing with really big pop stars and stuff like that. So I think it is really worth it to just kind of like be yourself and really like story tell and show the world who you are, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Because I feel like people are sick of brain rot. I think they're eventually going to get tired of brain rot and want more substance and more cinematic and high quality stuff.
So on that point, actually, I feel like when was it like the Webster Dictionary or like Merriam?
Oh, the brain rot?
Yes,
We need a host of no, Rage Bait, right?
Rage Bait.
Yeah, it was Rage Bait.
Very similar
Yeah.
thing. I feel like when a corporation or like like the I forgot what company does this, but the one that has like the word of the year, when something like that tells you what like the word of the year was, that's kind of when a trend dies. So rage bait was the word of the year basically, and I think rage bait is actually at its like tail end, and I think that by like this time next year, like people are going to be like personal brand, and people are going to know who you are based on your social media presence and not be like a character that you're playing and stuff like that. And I think that's also something to know with trends and like when to know when a trend is over. When a big corporation or a big brand is hopping on a trend, that's a signal that you should not do that trend anymore.
Just like 6'7". You're so 3'4" now. 3'4". 6'7". Dude, the corporations are 6'7"ing, so I think
Yeah.
it's on its way out. Dude, I love 6'7". Like, I don't know, it's so fun. I can't stop doing it. There's 3'4". Wait, let's take Kathy's question. Hi, Grace and Priya. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming on. I have somewhat of a spicy question. What is one thing you wish you can tell your past self before your first viral moment? Both the
Oh
good
my
and the
god.
ugly. Ooh.
I
Hmm.
don't know. What was your first, like, are we talking about like first? Because I think I went viral first when I was like 14. But like I don't
Hmm.
really remember the headspace I was in.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, same. I was like 14 or somewhere in high school. I went viral on Tumblr. I think one of my things got like 1,000 reblogs.
Yeah, that was viral back then for sure.
That was right back then. It was.
Maybe like your first viral that like pushed you into like the creator world. Let's go with that
Ooh.
one. So most
Hmm.
viral in the last like 3 years.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, I like to
Okay.
think about that.
Yeah. My most viral that pushed me is actually Design Buddies. So Kathy, you're actually one. So those who don't know, Kathy's actually one of our first 100 members. Yeah, and now we have like close to 100,000 members. Fun fact, we actually had like almost 100,000, and then someone accidentally purged 20K. So now we're like 88K. So like we basically should have been at 100K, but that is okay. That's okay. That's why. That's why. Um, and Design Buddies, man, I that group is amazing, but it's also pushed me in so many ways I would not have been pushed. Cause like being a community builder, I've been in situations where people can be weird, like really weird. Or they might have not the best intentions, but also majority of people can be really awesome and really nice. And I wouldn't have met so many people today if it wasn't for Design Buddies. And remember, like it's so easy. Like when you go viral, you get so many hate comments, and as humans, we love social validation because we're community oriented creatures. So we get sad when a group doesn't like us. We see that as danger. So it's like inherent in our evolution. So it's okay to feel sad, but don't let that stop you because just recognizing that the hate comments you get, because when you go viral, it's usually you rage rated someone oftentimes because people comment, and that's why the algorithm pushes it to more people. And usually people take more action when it's negative. And I would just say like the negative comments are really people who are sad and probably a failure in life and living in their mom's basement because they have nothing else to do and they feel the need to push people down to gain purpose in life. And that was a realization I had in the last couple of years that really helped me like really take Design Buddies to the next level, quit my corporate job, being able to financially support myself by being a content creator is being okay with hate comments. I know that also stopped a lot of people from posting online. It's okay to feel sad, but just recognize that the negative people are hurting themselves. And normal happy people wouldn't do that, and they're not worth your time. So that's what I would tell myself because I remember on Tumblr when I went viral, I got so many attacks by strangers. They're like asking me so many like deep personal questions about myself. I just felt like really exposed and really like sad. I like blocked it out from my memory, but they were just like being either like really mean or like really like invasive to my personal privacy because I was like a minor back then. That was kind of sad. And Design Buddies, I've been in so many situations where people kind of expected a lot from me and was really mean to me and really rude to me, made me feel really bad when I didn't want to give them free labor. Because as a content creator, you put out so much free content. People expect you to give them free stuff. But why would you give a stranger free stuff? When I said no, they were like really attacking my morals, and it really hurt me at first because all I want to do is like make people happy. That's why I have a community. But I can't help everyone. I do my best. That's why I make content. But just like not letting those people get to you and just designing for the majority and just keep moving forward from there and just focusing on a positive. So yeah, I know those are the stuff that used to like make me sad when I was younger.
Yeah, I think similarly, probably everything that Grace said, but for me in particular, I didn't have a lot of followers on this like new Twitter account that I had made. I got like 2.5K I think, which is kind of very close to what my followers are now. Through that like viral tweet. And what I didn't know is that virality can be very, very detrimental to your mental health, like very similar to what Grace went through. But For the next like 2 days, I was like just kind of reading the hate comments because again, like this was not an original idea. It was just something I didn't know that people were gonna see. But I got a lot of death threats and a lot of that kind of stuff, and that was really hard to sit with. And I was trying to figure out like, should I delete this? Like, what should I do? Like, how should I move forward? And I didn't really want to talk to people or like do anything until I made the right move. So I was bedridden for like a day or two, and yeah, it
Mm.
just really hurt me because I had never had like so much like negativity towards me. Um, but I went through it, and that's just something that a lot of content creators have to like work through. That's just kind of like a hurdle they have to go through. So I went through that really early. But the good things are like obviously I got like monetized. I was getting paid by Twitter every month, and that was helping me bootstrap my startup at the time. But another negative thing that I don't really like to think about too much, but a lot of people didn't believe in me, especially when I had my startup and I was like all this kind of stuff. I was new to San Francisco. I'm not like the smartest person in the room like ever, and so a lot of people really did not believe in me at all. And it wasn't until I went viral that all of those people started commenting under that tweet and basically wanting to show the rest of the people that were seeing this tweet that they knew me before I went viral. And I was like, you don't respond to my texts ever. And then again, similarly, like I stopped using Twitter because I was like going through it, and so I shut down like my monetary strategy, so I completely like ruined the algorithm and stuff. And those people who didn't believe in me and only talked to me when I was going viral don't talk to me anymore, surprisingly. So I think those are the things that a lot of people don't know again about like going viral. It's a lot of like personal stuff that you go through. But yeah, on to Grace's point, like a lot of people are just projecting. Like
Mhm.
all of this hate or all of this like wanting to know you only when you're like making it and stuff like that, it's all projection. So like if at the end of the day, if you can remind yourself of like why you're doing this, why you're here, and like why you're building in public or why you're a content creator or whatever, that's all you can really do.
Yeah, I agree. I've had so many people come out of the woodworks, asking for little favors after I went viral, and yeah, I just give them a little. I just like don't respond. Um, but sometimes like I feel nice. I do, but yeah, it's weird because I have people from my high school that used to bully me a lot, and after I grew as a content creator, they started like wanting to be friends with me. So I just kind of ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they apologize, because like I know high school is just a other time, different time. Um, yeah, I guess we can like take a couple more questions. Andrew asks, what predictions do you have for new features on like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn in 2026?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Meta likes to. I don't get any of these updates, but I see them always on TikTok because people are always complaining. But it seems like Instagram gets new features like every 2 weeks, and everyone always complains. But in terms of feature, I don't know. It's really hard. I feel like close friends or like whatever they're called on like all different platforms was like huge. I think that was something that I didn't actually see coming because that was like in my opinion like 2 years ahead of its time. Like now would be a great time for a lot of these social media platforms to put out like close friends or things where you can create your kind of like safe community and stuff like that. So that was something I think that kind of like skyrocketed this like storytelling feature. Um, I know that you didn't list this, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff gonna come out on YouTube actually. I don't know how well shorts are doing, but I think YouTube has some room to innovate. But I don't know what that's gonna look like.
Yeah, I think Shorts will take off. I think they're working on a new editing app. Instagram has an editing app. TikTok has CapCut. YouTube is coming up with its own Shorts editing app. But YouTube is owned by Google, which has SEO. So I think YouTube is great. But there's also like AI answer AG
API?
a answer engine optimization, which is like the SEO for ChatGPT. That's also popular. I think Instagram will focus more on like your stories and your close friends. So I've noticed like a lot of people, way more people like sometimes people like my stories or view my stories more than my posts. Like when I meet people in real life or see my friends in real life, they're like they know what I'm doing because of my stories. So they all watch my stories. So I think stories is also game coming up. I think TikTok Shop is gonna be big. Social consumerism, commerce, social commerce, and a lot of trends from China. Like, dude, Chinese social media is insane. I was talking to my friend Stephen He, who's like a big YouTuber, and he told me that these Chinese social media, like Rednote, Douyin, they have like analytics that tell you at which second someone made a purchase. of your product and at which second someone liked in your videos. So like more analytics. I think learning a lot from China because Chinese people like they go crazy on their social media and he told me that there's like people in China with like 5 million followers make millions of dollars USD a year. And I think a lot of the world will be learning from what the Chinese people are doing and Redno and yeah, I'm not political, but I think people are gonna learn. And think TikTok is a weird spot. Like I remember, like earlier this year, it was like low key gonna shut down, and then I think Oracle might have bought. I don't know what's going on. There's like so many like, and Trump kept like expanding the deadline, so I don't know what's going on right now. But TikTok Shop is pretty popping right now. I even made an account just for TikTok Shop, and it's pretty popping as well. I get sent my first box of protein bars. Yeah, my first set of running clothes from my Willow Grace Tries account. Threads, Instagram. Yeah, I think LinkedIn though. LinkedIn, I've actually talked to a bunch of LinkedIn staff about this. I asked them a lot of questions about the algorithm, and they told me that they're always experimenting with that, but they're trying to push more people to make content. So they have this LinkedIn page called LinkedIn's Guide to Creating. I actually have a sponsored post that I'm working with them that they're editing right now on that page. So not sponsored to say this though, but they have a lot of like creator tips. They're trying to get more people to make content on LinkedIn, share their expertise. And I think right now their algorithm's really weird because a lot of my posts I see on my algorithm are all ads, bit pay to play right now. But I think the algorithm will recalibrate. And sometimes we see posts from like 2 weeks back. So I think just continue to post on LinkedIn, business as usual. But I just feel like LinkedIn is all about quality over quantity. Like you can connect with people. You don't have to like focus on as many likes because on LinkedIn there's like a lot of quality connections you can make with it too. Um,
I
yeah.
actually, while you were speaking, I thought of some features, but on the aspect of like China is like where a lot of our social media takes inspiration from. Live streaming is going to like probably take off like crazy in 2026. So yes, like the YouTube era is coming back, but a lot of people don't have time to sit there and edit videos, so they look to live streaming. And I know as like founders building in public and becoming more accessible is also something that's going to start trending. A lot of founders have started live streaming, so they live stream on TikTok or they live stream on Twitch, and that's something that is probably gonna take over. I see like Facebook shopping is gonna be like a thing, like live streaming on Facebook as opposed to like live streaming on Instagram. Meta, I don't think has any stake in that like live streaming space, so I think that's something that's gonna come
Hmm.
out. I don't know if there's gonna be LinkedIn live streaming. I'm sure they're gonna get into it at some point. I don't know about LinkedIn shopping. I feel like that's a little weird. But I think LinkedIn should work a little bit, and I think they are, but working a little bit more on like helping stealth startups, which is founders, hire. I think that's something that LinkedIn, just something from my end, because I have a stealth startup, I get a lot of emails about that. So I think they're trying to help people hire and try to help people get hired. So what that's going to look like, I don't know. But that I think is probably the biggest things we're gonna be looking forward to.
Hmm. LinkedIn shopping, dude, that would be cool because I
What
do a
would you
lot of things.
shop?
SaaS tools.
That's
They're
crazy.
like, yo, show me this vibe coding tool, did XYZ, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I wish LinkedIn brought back stories.
Did they have stories?
Yeah!
Why?
I love LinkedIn stories. When they got that
Were
up.
you performative with your matcha? You're like
Yeah! I was like
roasting
showing
matcha.
I was showing people my designs, like my work in progresses.
I feel like the reason, well, I don't know, but I feel like the reason they took that away is because it felt a little too like casual. Like Instagram is very
Mm.
casual, but LinkedIn is a little bit more put together.
Hmm.
When you start to bring features like stories, I think people start to like shit post more, and that really it loses the value of what the platform really is for. Because at the end of the day, yes, LinkedIn is a social media platform, but they have a purpose. I think they're really trying to stick to that purpose as opposed to just like guys start reposting your reels here, it'll become like
Mm.
a mess and then they start to lose their importance. So I think they A/B tested that and they probably saw the same thing.
Yeah, I think they didn't see a lot of usages. So
That
LinkedIn
too. Yeah.
always launching a lot of things. I know newsletter was a big thing earlier. Newsletter, like if you send me a newsletter, your first post will be sent to all your followers. So use that
Oh.
strategically, yeah. And it doesn't goes downhill from there. That's why like if you have a LinkedIn newsletter, I recommend having like a Substack or a Beehive or another external email newsletter platform so you own your audience, not just rely on algorithms. But that's another hack. LinkedIn business pages kind of are sad. I hope they make some improvements because on my design buddies page, I have like 70, 80K followers, but like my posts do like 1/5, no, 1 like 20th the engagement as my personal account, which is like it's sad, but it's whatever. What else? What else?
I
LinkedIn.
think newsletters is interesting
Hmm.
too. Just off of like I know Meta likes to copy everyone. So like an Instagram newsletter would probably I don't know if it'll come out next year, but it might come out 2027. But I think yeah, Instagram likes to copy things. But people didn't mention like Snapchat or YouTube. Like Snapchat is like on the map again. Like there are creators making like millions of dollars on Snapchat because nobody's using Snapchat. Like I think a lot of people don't realize that every platform is being used. Like even like those like you know
Tumblr.
yes,
Hmm.
Tumblr is also being used again, but you know those apps where people can post like their secrets and they're like anonymous? They're usually used on
Oh.
like college campuses, like those are
Oh,
coming
Yik
back.
Yak.
Yes.
I love Yik
Yes,
Yak.
Curious Cat, which used to be tied to Twitter, and then Twitter is relaunching Vine. You know about that, right?
Hmm.
So I think there's a lot of things coming out. So I think you should look into these like social media platforms that like you haven't really been using.
I agree, and there's so much coming out. Like Red Note too. I think it's still pretty
Yes.
popular. Like I recently posted my first Red Note in like 6 months, and people from Design Buddies found me.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
why. Yeah, they're like, "Welcome to Red Note." I'm just reposting. It's so exhausting. I keep with these social media platforms. So I think if you're just getting started, just focus on like a couple and expanding on from there too. And for me, I'm just experimenting always. Oh, hi Raymond. LinkedIn live stream. Come join my meetings and watch me work for 8 hours. Wait, let me know if you guys want co-working streams, because I'm down to do more LinkedIn lives. I don't think a lot of people are doing LinkedIn lives. LinkedIn lives actually, like, during the peak of COVID, I was getting like 600 to 1,000 views, and then I think live streaming kind of died for me a little bit because people come offline, and like our in-person events became more engaging. But I'm looking to do more consistent live streams so maybe people can expect like an audience. Because my biggest audience is on LinkedIn, like for my personal audience, outside of Design Buddies. You'll do like Feedback Fridays on our Discord. But yeah, let me know what you guys want to see on my LinkedIn
I
Live.
think you're being ironic with this post, but like it's so true that people are doing it. Like you think you're joking, but there are like thousands of people in the US and probably millions outside of the US that are doing this. And there are social media platforms where it's just like co-working. Like high school students love this. Like I know that you're being ironic, but like literally anything you can think of, like you can search the internet and someone's doing it right now. So why not do it yourself, you know?
Wait, that might motivate me to like stay focused because I have a very ADHD brain where I'm just like distract bunny all the time. And what if I like live stream on LinkedIn, I'll lock the fuck in. So maybe I also do a couple of live streams where I just like try every AI tool and just give you guys my live reaction and feedback to it.
You should.
I should do a LinkedIn live every week, maybe. Let's see. Let's see. Instagram has an updates feature. What's the updates feature? This feature don't seem used much.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, but Instagram notes though, I think Instagram notes are also another life hack. Every time I post on my notes, which is the low status thing, like from Gmail all days, it's only your followers who follow you back and see it. But I've used notes a lot, and I get a lot of people to attend my events from notes. So
Interesting. I knew
yeah,
people looked at that.
yeah, people look at that all the time. Even people I haven't talked to for a long time, they see my notes, they like swipe up and like want to hang out. I'm like, okay.
You know what? What's a good rule of thumb is if a feature still exists, people are using it. Like tech companies, like coming from the tech side, like there's no such thing as a feature that a tech company is like not making money off of.
Hmm.
So if it exists, yeah, it's probably better to just think that people are using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Instagram is like I also am like planning for like a brand Instagram right now. It is a full-time job. There's so many
Wait, tell us
things.
about it. What's your brand Instagram? Tell us about main thing.
Oh my gosh. So I'm building a creator tool, and when I look at creator tool Instagrams right now, they're really boring and they're really ugly. Even though these are like some great designers that are working at these companies and stuff, and so I was trying to figure out, is there a prettier way or a more aesthetic way that I could run a creator tool Instagram account? So I've been playing around with like Canva templates and just doing a lot of research into like branding and aesthetic and stuff like that. And so, a few things that I have looked into while doing research on Instagram is that people like to scroll through the feed, even if they're like not clicking on your individual post, they like to scroll through the feed. And if your feed is all one color, like if you've chosen a brand color and like your entire feed is that brand color, that's really boring. So a lot of really great Instagram accounts that get a lot of followers, they change up that like I forgot what that's called, like their main color like every few posts. And
Mm.
when I say few posts, I mean like 9 to 12 posts, not like two to
Mm.
three. And that way, when I'm scrolling through the feed, it's more interesting because a lot of people will do something called a scroll test. They scroll to the Instagram to see if it's worth even following, and then they click on some random individual post to see if there's value in that post, and that's how they choose to follow you. And then
Mm.
to stay engaged, especially with a brand account, to engage with your existing audience by posting on your stories and doing like polls and stickers and things that people can click and like kind of gamify is really important. And then having different types of posts. You talked about carousels. Carousels are really important. So how can you do a static post? How can you change that to a carousel? So those are some few things that I've been like doing a lot of research on, and I realized it's a lot of work, but it's more valuable to put in a lot of this work into an Instagram as opposed to quantity over quality. If you want to do quantity over quality, go to TikTok. If you want to do quality over quantity, Instagram.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a Design Buddies Instagram?
Yeah, we
How
do.
is that?
It has... So I think like people like my personal Instagram way more. Like Design Buddy's Instagram, I think has like 13, 14K followers. My personal Instagram has almost 11K. But the Design Buddy's Instagram gets like, again, like 1/10 of the engagement as my personal Instagram. I think people just like faces more. So I can't think of a brand. I don't really follow that many brands on Instagram. I mostly follow people, and I feel like people follow people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think as a founder, having your own personal brand as a founder is important because people like your journey, building a public, like your learnings. Like people follow people, not really brands. I guess like some examples that I like is like Wendy's and like KFC on Twitter. Duolingo. I like to take inspiration from those. Like some of my most viral posts on Instagram, I can show you too, are like memes I made. Like memes. Because like Instagram, like it doesn't do that well, and I'm sad. So
I
I'm still
think
working on it.
I think on the point of having like people like to follow people and not brands, like you just named three brands that don't have people
Mm.
as their like spokesperson. Like
Mhm.
Duolingo has a green owl,
Yeah.
and Wendy's has a girl with red hair, and KFC has Colonel Sanders. But I think what people get wrong about social media is they take things really literal. So when Grace says something like people like to follow people, not just like a brand, you don't have to have like a person as the face of the company. You need to have something with like eyes, a nose, and a mouth. You know, something that can like speak, something that can make jokes and stuff like that. I think a lot of people gravitate towards those brands as opposed to brands that are kind of faceless. And so that is something to take into account. And I think a lot of brands that run their Instagrams really successfully are ones where they have a face of the company, whether that is the founder or that's like a social media person that they hired. But these are more specific brands that I've studied. But there's this company called Waterboy, I think. It was some like alcohol company, I think, but they basically hired this girl to run the entire like TikTok, and that's why people followed that TikTok because it was a girl that was the face of the company. And then you look into it a little more, the founders were building personal branding. It's like two men. So like it doesn't really matter if
Waterboy.
it's like,
Mm.
if the avatar, the character is the founder or whatever, but this is why like a lot of colleges have like a mascot. You need
That's
a
true.
mascot for the company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I need to look into Design Buddies more. I feel like it's always been a challenge. We just got so many random followers, but I don't know where they all come from. I guess like I think our Discord has really great SEO because I've done a lot of like free talks with people and like podcast appearances all for free, and then they featured us on their website, so that's why we have such good SEO. Discord also likes us and features us a lot, and that's how I guess how people find our Discord. But I need to like make these audiences more activated because it's sometimes we get like a couple 100,000 story views, but like 10 like no like maybe like not 10 but like 20 likes. What it's a struggle. It's a struggle. One step at a time. I'm trying to grow my own Instagram first and just help grow Design Buddy's Instagram, but we're gonna experiment with more community features, like community content. So we have like a design challenge we're doing, like an event calendar. We want to share more like educational content because right now I just post like event photos, which is not really something people want to follow. So it's a work in progress. More to come in the new year. Oh, people want to know maybe come on your Instagram if you want to share.
Oh, my Instagram is lame Priya, LamePriya. I made that when I was 13, and I told myself I would change the username when I thought of a better one, and I never did. So, but I don't have like a huge following on Instagram. I mostly do management for like other brands and other people. But I am now growing my own personal brand. So LinkedIn and TikTok are where I'm more focused.
Where can people find you on TikTok?
My TikTok is who is Priya. Yeah. I still got that like 12-year-old brain when it comes to making usernames.
It's okay. One time my username was hello there, I'm Grace.
Nice. Very 2010s.
Other one was like Grace E. got link. So,
My
uh,
Snap. Oh wait, maybe I shouldn't say my Snapchat username.
oh, okay.
um, yeah.
Yeah. Design challenge idea. No, you can still join. We're doing a design challenge every day for 24 days. So, and you can also do yesterday. You don't have to do it on the same day. So just join our Discord. You can join. It's not too late. It's not too late. Anyone can join. Um, it was kind of a last minute idea I had. I pitched it to Replit and they said yes. So that's why we launched it on December 2nd because I just thought of it 2 days ago. So yeah,
I
just
think
join.
challenges are really good.
Yeah, I want to do more challenges. I think that will help grow. People like want to engage in a challenge more to see themselves featured and
Yeah.
just like see all the cool things people made and get inspired to like do stuff. Because for design night, we just want to help people like improve their skills and have fun and build stuff. And I think challenges will motivate them to like try new tools and go outside their comfort zone.
I think more of like engaging with the community and like growing a community, but like every person you include in your community, engaging with them and doing something for them can help be like a really fast growth hack because I grew a Substack to 100 people in 2 weeks, which is like really insane because I know a lot of people have struggled with Substack. But basically, what I did was I did social media strategy for musicians, especially people like my niche was helping people get from like 0 to 1, not like 1 to 1 million. So I help people get started and get the ball rolling on TikTok mostly, but also Reddit, Instagram when I had time. And I would just find musicians that I really like their music, and then I would DM them, and I would be like, "Hey, I have this newsletter. It has all these free resources for you. It also I keep track of trends so that you can just kind of read the newsletter once every 2 weeks and kind of follow the trend. And would you like to be featured?" And that worked really, really well. So
Mm.
I got like a tons of engagement and tons of followers. And if I continued that, I would have had like tons and tons of subscribers. But newsletters are really, really hard. They take a lot of energy.
They do, they do. I
Yeah.
struggle with it.
Yeah.
But they're high value. Like it's very engaging. Yeah, Adrienne likes the idea of AI tour live stream. You should definitely do it. Yeah, I'll probably do it in 2 weeks when I come back from my little trips. Stay tuned, stay tuned. I'm trying to do LinkedIn lives every week if I can, or every
That's
two
good.
weeks, because I think live is gonna be big, and there's no one else really live stream on LinkedIn anymore. So
Gotta get back on that.
yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people live. I haven't seen that many. Let me know if you guys also tune into other LinkedIn lives, because it was so big during COVID. Like everyone was doing LinkedIn live. Well, not
I didn't
everyone.
know that.
Yeah, maybe it's just the rabbit hole I'm in. But so many people are doing LinkedIn lives, and they kind of died. I don't see any on my feed, but LinkedIn, if you're watching, we love you, and I'm gonna do more lives. Let me know if you want to collaborate on any lives. We love you, LinkedIn, and we hope you love us too. Yay! Anything else you want to share?
Um, I'm just really glad no one asked about TikTok and people have been asking about other platforms because
Mm.
everyone's trying to grow on TikTok, trying to figure out TikTok, but like TikTok might not be for everyone. Like
Mhm.
if you don't want to spend 6 hours a day doom scrolling, TikTok is not for you,
Mhm.
honestly. Or if you find someone that's running a really great newsletter the way that I was and kind of doing the doom scrolling for you, I think that's really great. But it's a lot of work. So every single person I know running a newsletter has basically called it quits because it's really difficult. But
Yeah, even I can barely keep up with our design buddies one. So please like and subscribe.
yeah,
'Cause-
but you're very consistent.
I try. I try. I try. Oh, I use this app, not sponsored, but it's called Whisper Flow. So I just like it's voice to text. I just yap and then like put it together into thoughts.
Yeah, systems building is very important. So finding a system that works for you. I found a system that works for me and it was still too much. So
Mm. Oh, Beckett says the only LinkedIn live you ever joined. Thanks for joining us. I'm honored to be like multiple people's first LinkedIn lives today.
yay.
We'll have more. We'll have more. Wait, we should like do more. Yeah, I think live stream on LinkedIn could be big because live stream is gonna be big in 2026. I think also LinkedIn because LinkedIn is trying to be cool and hip with the young kids.
Plus we're yapper. So
Yeah, I just love yapping, man.
yes.
Yeah, awesome. But yes, how can people learn about main thing? How can people stay in touch with you?
So my LinkedIn is linked here. My Twitter is linked here. I don't really use Twitter, but that's kind of I wanted to showcase my viral tweets in case anyone wanted to search my content. But I am very responsive on TikTok. I'm very responsive on LinkedIn, email. Yeah, I'm basically everywhere.
Yay! Thanks for joining us today.
Yay!
W's in the chat, 673
Yay!
4. All right, have fun, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Bye. Oh, now it works.
Oh, now it works. Oh, we have one more question. Oh, first LinkedIn live too. Oh my god. Wow.
I
Advice.
guess. Question. Okay, we'll do this really quick. Advice
Yeah.
on growing a personal brand on Instagram. We kind of already went
Yeah.
over this, but what's your TLDR?
Do something interesting. I mean, that's kind of vague, but I think like starting with a niche is good. Like for me, I started with running, and then I have another one with design and art because people like love having a nice feed, like aesthetics and stuff. Um, Captions, I guess it depends on what kind of personal brand. So feel free to share. People like to learn about yourself, your struggles, your story, your challenges, and being yourself. Um, I'm trying to think. Like, so for my personal brand, I try to share like day in my lives or like oh, hi everyone. Day in my lives, like events I go to, learnings I've done, stuff about yourself and trying to be like consistent with my voice. If I'm like a fun person, try to keep it consistent and not go all corporate speak. But yes, do
So I'm because we're like 30 minutes over. I also help with personal branding and social media strategy. So if you can message me on LinkedIn, my email is priya priya at mainthing.social. Everything is spelled correctly. So if you can write that down. And my Substack is substack.com/pr2a. Something like that. But yeah, if you just message me, I will give you all the links that you want. If you have any questions, I don't want to take any more of Grace's time, but yeah. Also for personal branding, go through Grace's stuff. She's really good at personal branding.
thank you.
So great example here.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank y'all for joining.
Yes, thank you.
That means in the chat.
Bye.
Who else?